Hey, this is Alex Yoder with Pro Tip Tuesday, my favorite day of the week. And today I'm going to talk about rent stabilization, rent control, what the difference is between the two, and what that looks like here for the state of Colorado. So let's start by the difference. Technically speaking, rent stabilization is a form of rent control. However, true rent control is slightly different, and it started in the state of New York, where the government would basically say, hey, landlord, you can only charge this much money for your unit. Whereas rent stabilization generally just controls the percentage of the annual increase. So what the government would say is you can only raise rents by X percentage when you do an annual increase on your tenants. Now, it's not always that simple, and all the bills are slightly different in what they are controlling, but that is generally the intent, and that is generally the difference. Even in the state of New York, though, they're converting a lot of these old true rent-controlled properties over to rent-stabilized properties. And my understanding is that in New York, that mainly applies just to apartment buildings, and the ones that were controlled, which were single-family, duplex, fourplex, or anything under 6 units, are actually converting out of both programs. But that's different in every state and every region. Maryland has forms of rent control. California, of course. Oregon just passed statewide rent stabilization. And that's the concern here. So let's talk about the state of Colorado. In the state of Colorado, in 1981, there was a bill passed that prohibited the state or any regions of the state from controlling the amount of rents that landlords can charge. So Democratic lawmakers are trying to remove that barrier so that they can open the door for the potential of rent stabilization bills in the future. This year, the attempt to remove that barrier did not pass because of time constraints. Basically, they ran out of time, the deadlines passed, they couldn't get the bill through in time. So we are expecting that to return in 2020, and members of National Association of Residential Property Managers, the Pikes Peak Association of Realtors, the Council of Elite Property Managers, the Colorado Division of Realtors, all of these organizations will be likely coming together to combat that bill. Our concern, of course, is, and I'm hesitant here. I don't want to tell people how to think. I just want to give you the information. But I'm going to tell you from a property manager standpoint, we are concerned about demand. And we've seen investors run out of regions that have these kinds of bills, and that lowers inventory and ends up actually hurting the people that the bill to begin with and was designed to help. So what I've seen, what I've heard, what I've learned is that these kinds of bills can sometimes have a temporary positive impact or benefit to tenants, but have a long-term detriment, because as investors and builders run out of areas, now there's a shortage of housing even more, and rents demand and push on rents continues to spike even more. So that's the concern, of course. And beyond that, for landlords, they want to get fair market value for their properties for it to be a good investment. If I have a couple $1 million and I want to build some apartment buildings, and I can do it either in California or I can do it in Colorado right now, I'm going to do it in Colorado every day of the week because of the bills that are in place in the two different states. So that's something that should be always considered, and everything bill-wise should, of course, in my opinion, be considered from all angles, not just from one. So that's where we're at. That's my perspective and my opinion. But again, I don't want to tell you how to think. I just want to give you the information. Now, we will be, again, testifying next year when this bill comes back, and I will keep you informed through the Colorado Springs Landlord Forum Facebook page and through these videos on the progress as that is going along. So thanks a lot for tuning in to Pro Tip Tuesday. We will see you next week.